Hi, I'm a game dev. For those that don't know what that is, that means I sit in my room for about 11 hours a day on a computer that's about to blow up. Shh, it's still alive. It's fine. And create the game I've always dreamed of creating. Last video, why spoilers are actually good, I said I'd reveal something big about the gameplay. But sorry about that, because even though from the spoiler perspective, knowing about Iron Man's death actually adds to the experience, go watch the video, I've got 341 subscribers currently, and I don't want my idea to be sold with a bigger name and then it be looked at like I took the idea from them. So I think it is wiser to just not yet. I said I would, so sorry. But hold on, upon review, I got this in time. This little cutie, Logan here, yeah, she's playable. Also, the previous video is giving me a nice buffer so I can focus on the important parts of future videos. So check out the description if you really want to see some up-to-date changes. Picking up from the last devlog, we got cutscene. The one I used in the trailer was incomplete and then broke on me. But I fixed it in the last one and have polished it even further now. So right there, this is gameplay now. So you've just started the game and now, just like Ratchet, you've been thrown into my world, no tutorials, and as Reef said, your goal is to go to the mangrove and ask around. And for anyone that's played a game before, this is an underwater game with a lot of stuff going on. Like the giants I've slowly been making that you can go beat up with a stick, and infamous / prototype style powers, so things are gonna get crazy. And you can just run around, explore a bit, and then start swimming over to probably break my game straight away in the demo and make me fix every little piece of it. But for newbies, I need to be really careful. Even in Mario, you're plopped into the world and you just start pressing buttons. You start running, and before getting scared by a Goomba and jump, hitting your head on the blocks and just falling straight onto it, now you know how to kill things. I never even realized this, so thank you Steve, and thank you GMTK for this. Then to introduce every new mechanic in the games, there's this safety net that then is taken away and made more difficult. Then there's a twist on it before you get to show your mastery over it. And similarly, Ratchet & Clank was my first game, so after it established the establishing shot where my little kitty eyes were drawn straight to the moving toads over there, I either walked off a cliff or was killed by the frogs enough times to learn that they are bad, and by pressing the square button near them, attacks. And then figuring out the jump a little later, 3 toads are placed in the exact spots that you will end up spamming the button and find out what a combo is. So for me, I got built into the world to walk off the cliff toward the thing I pointed out in the beginning, and then start swimming. But because of how my movement is set up, if you're not looking directly forward when the game starts, you can't go anywhere. But I can rotate the camera, so that's what I'll be trying next. Where I deviate though is in the world design. Mario is confined to 2D or like small levels in 3D space. Ratchet is also level based. This is an open world. So next, let's turn to Zelda. In Breath of the Wild, you have UI tell you how to move. Okay, but then you learn how to jump and climb, equip stuff, and then you go out and see the world. So immediately I want to go straight to the volcano. But the only path you can actually go to is the tutorial area around the right. Learning to do basic stuff, get the glider, and a waypoint, then you can go do whatever you want. So all these big parts on the horizon will lure you to whatever you notice first. But where I will deviate again, underwater means depth and verticality. And I refuse to do the Subnautica thing where it's just nothing until you reach the floor. Yes, it makes it very scary, but once you get over that, it's boring. So I will fill stuff floating everywhere, like you can already see in a bit of this, and I've talked about this before, and is on the catch-up list. So, yeah. So you've just dropped off the plateau and you're swimming. As soon as you start looking around, there's another special mechanic I haven't revealed yet, because of the same reason as before. I'll add DevSpeak in place of Ratchet's help desk messages here, showing some accessibility options, help, and breaking the fourth wall, because I would have loved a developer to be talking to me in my favorite games. I'm going to do it to other people's. See how it goes. So you swim around and you've gotten to the mangrove. I need to do some type of dynamic cutscenes because you can get here in any angle, and unless I blink cut to being in a set position or make everything happen by a first time interaction trigger of you going to the new people. And yeah, I like that a lot better. Now for the triggers. I've never seen how people actually manage their story triggers in games, and it's not like I can just do it for a whole bunch of balls. Like, if in phase 1 and not playing 8765432, then play the first cutscene. That's crazy. I could use references for if a cutscene object is active, but how am I going to define that? I don't know. I could use events. Would scriptable events even work? I don't know. I don't want a ton of scriptable objects just clogging up my project window. Or I could just learn what these are and work with Shane to research some options like a smart, rational person, but why would I want to do that? Crazy is so much more fun. So I'm just gonna do whatever I come up with. Like this on collision event that I used for enemy damaging. So if I detect when the player enters a collider that has a trigger and check the number of times that the player has talked to the NPCs already in a cutscene logic script, I can just make all the other parameters to gauge progress later as I want. So, I shall say hello to Vale, and yeah, I got some weird, non-normalized names because I can name stuff whatever I like. I like control. And then we add a look at function, then logic, which will include a consistent look at instead of just once when you enter the thing. And now I even have dialogue for him to comment on your idle pose, assuming I don't make one specifically for animating, because I already have way too many animations. Wow, you really know you're getting better when you see an error in the code and can fix it as you're writing. It's so cool. I knew instantly, oh, this probably just needs an addition to the string. So by that logic, I just convert the int into a string to display, and pow! But I don't know what I'm gonna do to trigger the player body language. Yeah. Later on the catch-up list. That thing's getting long. I want you to go back to the Colosseum so Reef can show you a little something, but control will always be in the player's hands to use, hopefully to use as I want you to, or to just crush my work. I'm gonna trigger the next cutscene though. I don't know. How about we have some lunch? Now I give you a goal and then add some meta commentary prompting you to pry into your own life to come up with a goal of your own if you don't already have one. And then I can do that over the course of the next few hours so it's not just a shock, pow, choose something now. Hold on. How will I do a trigger by collider only after you've been into the mangrove? Okay, so when Vale finishes talking, I add an interaction point, and when you hit that interaction point, the parent for the cutscene becomes active, triggering the collider. Pow! So if you go into the Colosseum and activate the actual cutscene, I said activate the actual cutscene. Yo! Totally didn't waste 2 hours of my time on this while fighting my own tendency to just, ooh, squirrely! I swear I used to watch shows and work all the time, no problem. Anyway, now I get to stuff Reef with some flesh. I know what I said. So Reef is going to struggle to communicate his actions and is going to seem cold and uncaring despite his efforts and language. I've got to be so careful here not to make this look like a personality complete swap thing. So let's do minimal dialogue, classic show don't tell, but first, a quick... That was a weird sound, snore. By going to sleep, by the time I got back, I would magically have ideas for what I wanted to do. I know vaguely overall, but I don't know specifics. So I decided to make it night by changing the fog color because of the sun's angle. And as such, discourages exploration because scary and gives Reef a reason to sleep. Oh no, I copied the director object for this next piece, but because it's a prefab, the changes I made for this changed the original too. Plastic help. Got it not too long later. Cool. Sleepy time. That was weird. Yeah, there's no collision, but using the method of earlier and separating each part. Wait, where'd the leaves go? Oh, I put that file on a drive I don't have access to now. Okay, turns out it was just an old version that I didn't bring in. And it's in the trailer thumbnail. Whoops. Okay, so how did Bagger Ivy work again? It's not working. Okay, let's reinstall, and I discovered mine was semi-corrupted. So I opened a demo project and imported the Colosseum. Pow! And after editing the model to what I want in that scene, the spread didn't work. So I went a new scene and woohoo! And woo! But I gotta do edits for a third time in a row. Chill on the propagation volume, my dude. It works though. And after finding some sliders, I started sliding stuff around and it crashed. I don't have a backup. Recover. Yes! Okay. Just no Ivy. So, doing everything again. And I have learned we have a backup running in the background. I'm sorry, how many polygons will be created? 193,215. You know what? Boop. Or not. Let's just add that to the catch-up list because it looks like that's going to take all day, and I remembered the focus is on cutscenes for the week, not world building. So, dialogue time! I created a bubble with export settings, and awesome, easy fix. Wait, I forgot to eat lunch, huh? I get one injury and stop working out, and I forget to eat. Wow. Okay, made new animations, and whenever I exit play mode, it crashes. I wish this was a joke, but it's not, and I just kept on going. This is the first animation for Logan because she is playable. I lost the blend file for her too, but importing FBXs saves rig data and materials. Woohoo! I'll be scripting a movement later because it's time to rip off Lego's character swap. I mean, take inspiration from Lego's character swap mechanic. Now I mapped this to a triangle, so what do you think's gonna trigger the weapon wheel? You can speculate, posting in the comments may help because you can cooperate, but it will be a while before that reveal. At least a few weeks. So after recalculating the leg weights so they don't just shrink whenever I go to move them, and animating Logan like a little otter, I gave the Shape Key version a slightly different animation because it's got really jank when it doesn't, and I found out using the normal animation on the Shape Key in Unity actually works. Awesome! Now I have to deal with Unity crashing again. Anyway, I added a thing to switch the animator avatar and controller during runtime, but it messed with the animation playback, So I set the other avatar before switching it again and had the opposite problem. Then I noticed having it null or empty will cause it to work when you switch to the other character. So when you swap characters, I set it to null and then reassign it. And yeah. So now when you enter the cutscene bounds, Logan will forcefully take control to let you explore and get used to playing as Logan. And then I set another trigger for when you decide to act like a dolphin and trigger the next cutscene, when I will activate sleepy times regardless of what time of day is, because I will put that on the catch-up list to make it just work with time. But that's everything. If I kept going, the video would quickly turn into 30 minutes, so stay tuned to see the cutscenes get out of the prototype stage, become more fleshed out, and for more enemy setups. Woo! Alright, you are 3, 2, 1. Bye bye.